Hello, welcome to Rapid Regeneration with me, David Escamilla. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I don't make claims about diseases or medical claims. I'm also not a nutritionist. And if it's medical advice you seek, you should seek a medical professional. If it's nutritional advice you seek, you should seek a nutritionist. I'm just a regular guy, just a civilian, and who had to figure out how to solve my health problems, I had horrible health problems that I suffered from when I was 22 years old. I poisoned myself accidentally, and I caused probably brain damage, nervous system issues, because I just felt completely exhausted and couldn't think straight, and my personality felt altered, and my mood and my energy, and I had horrible headaches and aches and pains, and I felt like a 90-year-old man basically trapped in my body. And this continued for years, and I finally figured out a lifeboat out of it. And what that was really natural wellness techniques, total body cleansing, different supplements, changing what I was eating, and other techniques, and ended up solving all those problems. They were all gone, and basically I got my old self back. Now I missed out on many years of my life, and it still caused me a lot of pain and suffering. So it's not like everything was completely fixed, but I got my health back, my personality, how I was feeling back. And when you don't feel good, there's nothing as bad as that. So my mission now is to share this information with you, because I became obsessed with this, figuring this stuff out, and I've become an expert in this area. I'm not saying I know everything. I don't know everything, but I'm committed to sharing with you what I've observed that works and doesn't work, and that's the mission that I'm on now, because I'm so amazed by this information, and now I feel like that's my calling, to help you. So whether you're trying to figure out how to go to the next level of energy, performance, maybe supplements that you should take, or ways to enhance your life, or whether you're desperate like I was and completely in the throes of health issues, then I hope this information will help you. With the caveat that I can't give direct medical advice or nutritional advice. Of course, I wouldn't do that. So don't take it as that. Anyways, so this is going to be, if you've paid attention to other chapters of Rapid Regeneration, they're each specific and covering a foundational issue that's building out a strategy to reclaim your health and go to the next level. Well, this is perhaps one of the most comprehensive questions that needs to be covered. So this is going to be a little bit longer, because it's a complex question and it's a nuanced answer. It's not just black and white, yes or no, take this and take that, etc. And so if you don't believe in supplements, if you don't want to take them, then just skip this, or just learn it anyways and then decide what to do. So basically, this is just one of the most common questions that people have, which is, some people wonder, should I even supplement at all? And then the second question to that is, well, which supplement should I take? And, at what dosages, and how should I consume them? And so, it's a complex question. Now, I got burned badly by supplements, because when I was super sick for 4 years, I tried these different supplements. I tried vitamins, minerals, I tried nootropics, and they didn't work. I mean, I felt, in some cases, worse. I just felt a little queasy and stuff after taking them. And so they didn't give me any relief. And so at this time, I kind of gave up on supplements. But it was later that I really discovered the issues with quality concerns with probably 95 to 99% of all supplements that are out there. I don't want to say they're garbage, but pretty close to that. Issues with toxic fillers and materials that are added to these supplements to preserve them, and also the quality of the ingredients themselves, and the low amount of actual potent ingredients that you're getting. So I gave up on supplements, and then what happened was a couple years later, I did find supplements that, supplements that that did help me, because I was introduced to a line of supplements that were extremely high quality, and when I tried it, I noticed a difference, and that really is what started my journey into healing. I then got really into cleansing with different herbal supplements, and then this warms me back up to supplements, and then getting into that, I really improved what I was eating, and I felt the power of foods and superfoods and all these natural whole foods that were helping me, and I got so amazed by the benefits of just the food that I got into this romantic notion that basically we can get all the nutrients we need just from the foods, and this is actually more common than you might think, and it's really a great notion. It's idealistic, and it would be great if we could just live on planet Earth and get all the nutrients we can from foods. And I lived like this for a while, for years. I was like, maybe I'll take some herbs, but didn't like the idea of taking additional isolated supplements. And I liked this romantic notion of being in harmony with nature, getting all the nutrients we needed from food. And so I understand some people, if that's what you're going through, I've been there. And you know what's crazy is I even solved my health problems doing that without really using vitamins, minerals, other isolated nutrients, pretty much just food and herbs, a little bit of minerals in there for the colon cleanse product, and also iodine. I did take some iodine in there. So, but basically, we have to get real though. The thing is that I evolved because I came back around full circle, and the conclusion that it became clear to me was that in most modern environments, humans are not best served just by the foods that they're eating, and because of the environment that we live in, because of our lifestyles, because of the way that food is grown, the food, it sucks. I mean, it's really missing and lacking in nutrients, and this is well documented. It is, and there's studies showing it, that the soil quality has just dropped off a cliff in the last century. And so how can we live like, the proverbial Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden when we don't live in the Garden of Eden, and God gave us this world, and then we look what we did with it, and look at the food that we're producing out of it and what we're doing to the soil. So the food is immensely lacking in vitamins, minerals, flavonoids, antioxidants, and more. So I've actually evolved to try to figure out a modern solution to this modern problem. I no longer am in a place where I'm into this romantic notion of I don't want to take any supplement pills, because I would like to not have to, but I've come to grips with the reality. Here's the other thing, is that our need in the average human body in the modern world may be greater for a certain nutrient or a certain vitamin or something, may be greater than it was in prehistoric ancestral times, because just keep in mind the extreme toxicity and stresses of our environment that we live in. All the pollutants, all of the EMF radiation, all this can cause free radical oxidation in the human body. And that could call for additional antioxidants, an additional need to balance back out toxicity and oxidative stress inside the body. All of this that's caused by modern living. So not only are we getting poor quality nutrition from the foods, but I think we probably need more nutrition than our ancestors did because of their lifestyle and the environment. So because of this, here's the other thing. Lastly, is look at all the genetic weaknesses. And so you could be born into this world and really be having the cards stacked against you, because look at all the issues that are happening, that are exploding with babies having health problems when they're born, and incidents of childhood problems and teenage problems, and all this stuff gets starting younger and younger, and all the unhealthy foods and the environmental toxicity and the genes. The cells are getting mutated and irregular, and people are passing these genes to the next generations, and the genes are now worsening, in my opinion. And so that can be helped with certain supplements. And so those are some of the reasons why I would consider supplementation. Now, I don't just think it's a good idea to take a shot in the dark and say, maybe I'll take some of this, maybe I'll take some of that. I do think testing is your friend. If you can afford it, it's very affordable and reasonable. But if you can do some testing, that's covered in another segment. Just look for the chapter about testing. You can do urine testing, blood testing, hair testing. You can test your DNA and your genetics. And so this is really the best way to go. And not just saying, I don't believe in supplements, I'm not going to take any. And not just saying, well, yeah, I heard that this supplement is good, and I heard that supplement is good. Let me just supplement completely by intuition. Intuition is important, and how you feel is important, but also giving yourself some data. So, for example, if your blood is seriously, dangerously low in vitamin D3, you might consider supplementing with D3. And wouldn't you like to know that before deciding that? You could have dangerously low amounts of iodine in your urine. That could help you decide, okay, whether to take iodine or how much, etc. You could have genetic mutations, in some cases severe or from both parents, for certain genes, and that could help you figure out, okay, you know what, I might take these certain B vitamins that can really help to cover for this dysfunction of this gene. And so that's the beauty of testing. It does give kind of a roadmap. I think intuition is also important, and instinct and figuring out how you feel, that's also important. But big advocate for testing. And testing can also be a big reason why somebody might consider supplements. So with all that said, that's the case for supplements, supposedly. And this is coming from somebody who I used to not want to take them. So I really have evolved. And you know what? I think personally, this really held me back. And this cost me, because I think there's wrong information on both sides. There's definitely, I think, advice that's too liberal in terms of taking all these supplements. That's too much. But at the same time, there's people that are advocating against supplements. And all I'm saying is, do your own research and don't take anybody's opinion as gospel. That's a mistake that I made. There was an individual that helped me so much in overcoming my health issues that I trusted him so much, but I didn't really vet what he said about supplements, and I just kind of took it and followed it. But really, I don't think it was the best information, and so I think it cost me, and I missed out, and that bums me out a little bit. But not really. I mean, no regrets. But knowing what I know now, I wish I had been able to listen to this or watch this like you are, because it would have given me that edge to get quicker results, better. And so now that basically the supplements, that's some general context, I just want to break down the categories of supplements. So now here is how I would approach which supplements to consider taking, which supplements to not consider taking, and so on and so forth. So basically I'm going to break them down into the following categories. Okay, the first category is definitely would consider consuming these. I think most people would benefit from consuming these. That would be number 1, herbs and botanicals. Number 2, nutrients that are concentrated into like a powder that are really just a food, but that's concentrated. And number 3, the most essential and most commonly lacking vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. Not all of them, but just certain ones. The second category is supplements that are not nearly as critical, but I still think could provide benefits in most cases, and so would definitely still consider this category, which is other vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. This includes, essential fatty acids or amino acids, and also, secondly, extracts or compounds which are synthesized from nature, which enhance bodily function. And okay, and then there is the third category, which is basically these are supplements I would consider be inclined not to take. Okay, so that would include completely synthetic chemical creations, not found in nature, not made in the body. These are like, you're getting into like the pharmaceutical world now. Or the second one would be actual hormones, steroids, or enzymes, which are otherwise exclusively made in the body. Okay, and then the last category is kind of like a gray area. So this is an area that I would prefer not to take, but in some circumstances, I wouldn't completely rule it out. And this would be like your biological precursors. So these are things that are made inside the human body, but you can't really find them in nature outside of the body. So they're synthesized by modern technology. So just to cover these more in more detail, herbs and botanicals, I mean, this is a no-brainer. These are basically just foods. They're basically non-hybridized vegetables, or in some cases they're roots or it's a bark or something, but they're either liquefied or they're drawn out in a tincture form, or they're just dried and powdered. So you're basically just eating foods. These foods are, I hesitate to say magical, but they're highly intelligent. They are just so ancient from this planet, and they have intelligence. And basically, if you don't believe in God, I mean, look at these herbs and botanicals and how they can activate certain intelligence of certain systems of the body. It's truly amazing. Really is. And, so this is one of my most favorite supplements. And some individuals out there, people, natural wellness people, they say, well, don't take herbs. It's too stimulating. And I can understand that. I think they are stimulating. It could be overstimulating. I don't personally take issue with that. I think we have other bigger problems than herbs being too stimulating. And when I was really wanting to go to the next level in terms of my health issues, that was the last problem on my mind. And they've just helped me so much. So much of the total body cleansing is done with herbs. And, you can really target certain systems of the body with certain herbs. So there's a zillion different ones that I recommend. I'm not going to list them all here, but you can find them at rapidregeneration.com. Some extremely powerful herbal formulas. Okay, so then you have nutrients that are contained within a superfood product. Okay, that's the other segment, and that's going to be like a green powder, which is like a barley grass juice powder. This is like the best way to take a supplement because it's actually attached to the food itself, and so this can cover for a litany of sins. It doesn't have all the vitamins, nutrient, and minerals, but it has a lot of them. So there's a green powder that I like to take every day, and you can find it at rapidregeneration.com/green powder, and it has a bunch of different vitamins and minerals in it. Some of it has more than others, but if you're taking this green powder, you could look at it and say, well, I'm getting a ton of vitamin K, vitamin A, vitamin C, magnesium, iron, calcium, sodium, folate, chromium, manganese, and thiamine. It could help inform you whether you actually need to supplement with something. And also has trace elements of a bunch of other stuff, but it's been a total game changer for me, and so this would be like a no-brainer, if you can afford it, to supplement with a green powder regularly to make up for the total lacking nutrition in the food. Okay, the next category is the most commonly lacking and the most essential vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. So there's just a few that stand out in this category, which are the most essential in the body, but also potentially the most lacking in the modern world. And these in particular would be ones like vitamin D3, B vitamins, vitamin C, iodine, iron, zinc, magnesium, selenium, and chromium. I may be missing a couple here, but also I would include probiotics in this category. They're not a vitamin or mineral. They're worth including though because they are suspiciously absent, in the way that most people eat in today's modern world, and they're absolutely critical. Now, these ones I'm not going to go into in depth because there are other chapters that go into these ones specifically. You should reference each one to gain really a high level understanding of vitamin D3, probiotics, B vitamins, vitamin C, and iodine specifically. So that would be that category. Would highly consider supplementing with this category, at least learning the information about it and then making a decision. Okay, the next category is other vitamins and minerals. So these are ones that are not as essential or as missing as the other ones. But these are going to be your basic vitamins and minerals that you pretty much see in every multivitamin. I mean, they're still important to the body. They're just not necessarily as important or as missing as commonly as those other ones. And so a lot of these also are in the green powder. And also, they could be in the foods as well. But also consider that the foods are severely lacking. Also, this can include your essential fatty acids, essential and non-essential amino acids. Also, a lot of people have success, and there are some amazing results by taking certain amino acids. This can also be informed by genetic testing, which you may have an increased need for a certain amino acid in the body, but this can include things like L-methionine, theanine, or tyrosine, just to name a few. There's a whole bunch of different ones. So this could also be a category you could consider supplementing but it's not, to me, as urgent, like alarm bells are ringing, but it's worth considering. It's worth considering. Okay, the next category is compounds which are extracted from nature. Now, this is in addition to the other types of things. You basically have technology that exists. We now live in amazing times. Not only can we source ingredients from halfway around the world, but we have the technology and the tools and the scientists to extract these nutrients. And this results in a very isolated, compounded material that you could basically take in the body. And so you would never have found this in a prehistoric age. You just couldn't eat, a zillion pounds of blueberries, or grapes. But now this can be very, very potentiated, concentrated. And so this is not as, quote, natural for the body, because it can be very overstimulating, or it could, it's just not bound to a food, so it's not as natural. So I understand it's not as natural of an approach, but I've had a lot of benefits personally from taking some of these types of things, and there's a lot of them out there, a lot of stuff that's groundbreaking, but this can include like R-alpha lipoic acid, ancient peat, apple skin extract, trans-resveratrol, PQQ, quercetin, lycopene, inositol, lutein, zeaxanthin, betaine, antioxidant, flavonoid, and flavanol extracts. Some of these I can't even pronounce, and there's a whole bunch of them. There's lots. And by the way, this is what the elites are taking on the planet. The people with all the money in the world that, they just want to buy more years of their life and extend their life. And probably some of them are trying to live forever. Good luck with that. But, these are the types of things that, they're taking, because this is the best ingredients that money can buy, the most potent. So to me, the risk seems pretty low. After all, these are things that are already found in nature, but they're just being extracted, and they're being basically compounded so that they're more potent. You're getting more of that in one dose than you would eating an apple. And so personally, I've had good success with stuff like this. It doesn't really bother me to take something like this, even though I might not be taking it on the regular. But certainly if I'm wanting to get expedient results, I have some extra money to do it, I have taken stuff like this. Like one example of this, there's a product I've taken. It's a good example of using ingredients from this category, as well as herbs, as well as one of the B vitamins. I think it's vitamin B6, pyridoxine, all together in a formula. And it's basically to support brain and cognitive support. And I've had good success with it. Oh, it has amino acids as well. So it's combining some of these different categories, and I've had good success with that. That formula is located at rapidregeneration.com/brain support. So, but this category in general, using some of these really powerful extracted nutrients from nature, that's definitely a good one. But again, everyone's different. It might not be right for you, and there's some nuance involved. So, next category is the problem children of the supplement world. Now, these are things that I would not want to supplement with, because I see potential downside and risk involved significantly. One is completely synthetic chemical creations that are not found in nature or made in the body. These are, I thought we already learned this lesson. Look at all the problems with the pharmaceutical products that are out there. And so obviously, this can be problematic. The other one is, this is a lot more common, and it's touted as a natural wellness approach, which is taking hormones, steroids, or enzymes. Now, these are things, unlike the last category, they're not found in nature anywhere. The body has to make them, and so now this makes common horse sense to me, that if you start supplanting things in your body that your body is supposed to make, that it could cause hypofunction, that your body could start producing less of this material. And this is total common sense. Look at older men taking testosterone, and that's just one example, but it's an expedient strategy, but it's a much more deep-rooted problem. And so now, if that's what you want to do, no problem. I think everyone should have the ability to make their own choices with their bodies, but I'm aware of the risks to the downside. That now the body's really gonna, you're basically hooked for life at that point on that product, because your body is likely to make less of it. Now, are there certain scenarios where sometimes you have to walk in somebody else's shoes before you know how they feel? So now I'm at a point in my life where I don't feel the need or even to consider this type of thing, but I understand, if I was elderly, if I was taking thyroid medication, would I consider taking desiccated thyroid hormone, which is a more of a natural approach, even though it's taking hormone? Or if my pancreas wasn't working, would I consider taking insulin? Or if I was an old man and my testosterone levels were dangerously low, would I consider testosterone replacement therapy? So I understand. I'm just saying that this is a problem area. I understand why people might take this. These hormones can include things like testosterone, estrogen, progestin, human growth hormone, thyroid hormones, insulin, and many others. Steroids are they're used all the time, in fact, and a lot of times it's a short-term gain, but for long-term pain, because again, hypofunction can set in once that stimulation wears off. And then, of course, you have synthetic enzymes. Now, there's some enzymes which you can get from food. I'm not opposed to if someone wants to take that enzyme, because again, that could be sourced from nature. So the body could just think, oh, this is just coming from nature. But there's certain enzymes that are only made by the body, and if you start just taking them, then again, the body is likely to produce that much less of it. Okay, last category. Okay, this is the gray area of the supplement world. So these issues are not black and white. I don't pretend to know everything or be right about everything. I know some experts that are out there, proclaim that basically whatever their opinion is just correct no matter what, and there's no room for error. Look, I could be wrong about some of this stuff. I would never claim to know everything. That would be so foolish. But basically, there's a gray area. So, there are some compounds that exist in modern times that we've been able to create. They're so powerful that I can't totally discount them. But at the same time, their source is still quite controversial to me. And so that causes some concern and trepidation about taking them as supplements. I tend to avoid supplements from this category. It doesn't really balance with my life. But I'm not just going to throw up caution tape and just say, well, never take these supplements, because a lot of people have experienced a lot of benefits from doing so. But again, I'm just concerned about taking something that is not found in nature. These are like biological precursors. They're materials that are made inside of the body. They're not necessarily a hormone or a steroid, but it'd be like a hormone precursor, for example, or it can only be made in the human body. And so basically, if you take this, in my view, it's basically sending a signal to the body that it really doesn't need to worry about producing this, and that to me is unnatural. It could be a slippery slope. Now, I'm not the supplement police. I'm not trying to get you in trouble, if you want to do this. Just personally, for me, I would prefer a more natural approach. But, I understand. Maybe someone is so desperate, and sometimes it could be an uphill battle. And look, people should have the freedom to do what they want. I'm just letting you know. Also, as a side issue, I will include in this category glandulars. So this is, again, it's a side issue. Now, this is something that actually can be found in nature, but not really. I guess it's, well, yeah, I guess you could find it in nature, but it's basically taking the tissue of an animal, normally a cow, and basically taking like the pituitary of the cow, or the thymus of the cow, or there's a lot of examples, the parathyroid or what have you, and it's the raw tissue of that cow, and basically you eat it in like a pill. This can be very stimulating because it's supposedly passing on the intelligence of that animal, of that body part, to stimulate your body part to have the same intelligence. So I'll throw in this into the gray area category. I've actually taken glandulars, just to see what they were like, and I didn't really like it. I mean, it made me feel, it felt overstimulating. It kind of put me on edge a little bit. Made me feel a little bit uneasy, and just kind of felt odd. And to me, the concept is awfully strange. If you think about having to harvest that, and how do you carve out a pituitary gland, out of a cow, and then dry it out and preserve it, and then but again, if someone has a system in their body that is in such poor shape, and it is completely desperate, and it's not functioning, then I mean, if that was me, I would basically consider glandulars. But again, so that's a side issue. Then there's these, technically you could find that in nature. But then there's these other issues which you can't find in nature, like these precursors that are only made in the body. And again, it's your choice, but to me, it's controversial, it's risky. Some of these are more controversial and riskier than others. So there's even a spectrum of gray area within the gray area. But these types of compounds can include things like CoQ10, gonadotropin, pregnenolone, DHEA-NAD, SAMe, glutathione, NMN, L-carnitine, glutamic acid, NAC, peptides, which are growing in popularity, among so many others. And again, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say I've never taken these supplements and I've never benefited from these. It's like Bill Clinton. I never I smoked, but I didn't inhale. I didn't do that, I swear. But in fact, there was a point when I was at such a low point health-wise, and I took this certain product, and you know what? It contained CoQ10 in it, and it may have had one other ingredient that's from this list, but you know what? It really did benefit me a lot. And that particular product has even been shown to regenerate nerve tissue. It's extremely powerful. Now again, I would shy away from taking that because it feels overstimulating to me. It feels like it's more unnatural, and I feel great without having to do that. But I'm not going to lie to you and basically say, I've never taken stuff like this. I believe in transparency. And the thing is, it helped me. And it really gave me a boost. And so I have to mention it. That product is at rapidregeneration.com/cell cleanse. So please, I'm not going to make your decisions for you. Be very cautious and discerning and have good prudence about this category and what you would put in your body. Don't ask me for all the answers. Okay, I don't know them all, but here's what I do know. So there's some background and some context for you. Now I would stay away from this category of gray area, but I have been to the point where I did use it. So I hope that helps. But okay, so that's all the different categories of supplements. Just the last couple points in terms of dosages, which supplements, the quality, the cost. Should you take a multivitamin? And what about throwing the body out of balance? So just the last bit of nuance, context to wrap up. So throwing the body out of balance, that could be a concern, and that could be an issue with supplementation. And there is an element where you're kind of playing mad scientist with your body. And, you do run the risk of imbalancing your body when you start supplementing with these different things. And so that's true. But just keep in mind that, if you don't do anything, then there could also be, it could exist an imbalance in your body right now, without supplementing at all. And so you have to figure out which one of these imbalances, potentially is worse. But it is true that vitamins and minerals, they're much better absorbed with food, and in a natural sense, they work in concert with each other, and taking too much of one can affect the utilization of another one. Like, for example, calcium, while it's great to consume in a food form in a plant, it's, if you take isolated calcium, it can cause levels of phosphorus to be depleted in the body. It can be very, very problematic to take isolated calcium. And so just be aware of this, and creating imbalances, and that it is a possibility, it is a liability. This is not without risk, but the reason, again, I evolved to embrace looking into supplementation is because I believe the imbalances that exist from the horrible food and from the environment are even worse. So then you have supplement quality issues. I referenced this earlier. I think probably 95 to 99% of all supplements are junk. In the US, supplements are regulated in sort of a buyer beware environment. The product may have nowhere near what it claims to have in terms of potency, might be completely unabsorbable and biologically unavailable. And now you've just given your body something that it has to basically filter out, and can cause potential toxicity. So many fillers are used to cut costs, and which are toxic. And so look out for things like magnesium stearate, stearic acid, silicon dioxide, which is basically sand, soy lecithin, gelatin from animal tissue, potassium sorbate, titanium dioxide, propylene glycol, magnesium silicate, dicalcium phosphate. I mean, that's just a few, but these are so common. On 9 out of 10 supplements, you're going to find these on the ingredients. There's fillers that can be used which are more natural, like microcrystalline cellulose or rice bran flour, or let's say even like sodium ascorbate. It's just that there's so few companies that actually are committed to not having toxic fillers in the supplements. And so those are the ones that I would only recommend at rapidregeneration.com. And the other issue is the cost, because the way the industry works is most of the time these supplement companies are marking up their product 5 to 10 times. So if you buy $100 bottle of supplement, let's say if you buy a $50 bottle of supplement, it only has $2.50 to $5 of actual ingredients in it. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's only a handful of companies that will mark up their products, let's say only one time or two times, so that you're getting in a $50 bottle of product, you're actually getting $25 worth of actual material in some cases. And so, yes, it's an issue of quality, but it's also an issue of value. And where so many of these supplements are falling short, there are companies who have solved this problem, and those are the ones I would recommend, and those are the ones I do recommend. So, by the way, supplements cost money, and you have to weigh the benefits versus the cost. Not everyone is in a position to use supplements because maybe they don't have any extra money to do it, and let's say if somebody does, it has to be worth it. So if someone's going to spend $150 a month because they're like, I'm really gung-ho, I'm going to get to the next level health-wise over the next year, I'm going to spend $1,800 over the next 12 months. This person had better get a return. They had better be more productive where they can earn that, or maybe make fewer mistakes, or they can save that money, or maybe their quality of life needs to improve greatly, or maybe they need to increase their lifespan. But whatever the case, this person has to get a return on that investment financially, and in order to justify the financial investment, in order to justify buying that product again. There's a whole chapter about, there's two chapters. One is about balance, and one is about, is it expensive to eat healthy and take supplements. So reference those two for some more strategies that I've used on that front. Should you just take a multivitamin? That's another big question. Some people just think, well, I'll just take a multivitamin and not worry about all these specific nuances of figuring out the different ones and the dosages. And I used to think that, someone was better off not taking anything than taking a multi. I've kind of evolved to think more that someone would probably be better off taking a multi than nothing. But I still don't like it. I haven't found one that I really like, and I've scoured the marketplace. I really have. I would still prefer to I don't want everything that's in a multi, so I would still prefer to take certain strategic supplements as needed. But, and by the way, I've not found a good formulation that's perfect, but I will list the top multivitamins I've found, even though some of them have issues. One of them uses folic acid instead of methylfolate. One of them uses ascorbic acid instead of sodium ascorbate. Even the ones I found are not perfect. And so another one has calcium in it, which I would prefer not to take at all. So anyways, I will include, if you go to rapidregeneration.com/multivitamin, I'll include the top ones that I've found with some nuance around the issues with those. So I understand someone might just say, you know what, screw it, I don't want to do all this research. But personally, that's not what I would do. I would say, I'm not taking a multivitamin. I'm going to figure this out. So, lastly, nuances to dosages. Okay, so this is the third big question. The first question is, should you take supplements at all? Second question is, which ones? The third one is, how much and how often? So, of course, I can't really answer this question super specifically. I can provide some ranges that have worked for me that I'm aware of, and the upper ranges of toxic limits, of course, and some general ranges. But, I see experts out there that basically recommend, like universally give advice. Like, yes, someone should just take X number of milligrams once daily, period, the end. What about someone's weight, height, metabolism, gender? Are they pregnant, breastfeeding, lifestyle factors, diet, age? What about testing? What about genetics? There's so many factors. You could have a 200-pound male, 25 years old, and a 125-pound, 65-year-old female. Really, you're going to tell them to take the same dose? So, the other thing is that some people might respond better to a higher dose than another person. And they might not respond at all to the lower dose where someone else does. And so, I some of this, I know this is not the answer people want to hear, but you have to figure some of this out for yourself. I do go into, when I talk about other segments, whether it's probiotics, vitamin D3, iodine, vitamin C, B vitamins, these different other segments, I do provide some additional nuance and ranges of dosages and that are more targeted and specific, So, and the other thing is someone should probably consider working with an expert practitioner to get some one-on-one guidance. Just be careful. Just be really careful. You don't want to work with a charlatan or even a professional who's really well-meaning and they're innocent, but they're ignorant they don't just simply have awareness of full spectrum analysis of all the truth surrounding natural wellness, of all the different nutrients and supplements. There's so few individuals who know where all the bodies are buried in terms of, not saying that I do, but just full spectrum analysis of what's going on. And so, if it was me, I could start off, I would consider starting off taking a smaller amount, seeing how I feel. Some practitioners say, well, you shouldn't just go off how you feel. You need to quantify the results and etc. Personally, though, as referenced earlier, I do think your intuition is a powerful tool. Use that in addition to testing, in addition to research and advice that you get. Use your intuition of how you feel. And, because I want to feel good. And so, yes, I will use that as a metric as well. And if a bigger dose makes me feel better and it's within the safe range, I would consider that larger dose. And again, the testing is also super important. And you can also view those segments about certain supplements in particular. So make sure you also learn those individual segments about those most key supplements or most key nutrients, as well as the testing segment. And if you do this, you're gonna be way ahead of the game in terms of understanding what's taken me 8 years as of the time of recording to figure out. And this is with obsessing. I don't know how many thousands of hours, or I don't know how much I've put into this, but that's my gift to you. So I hope you're grateful. But no, seriously, I hope this helps you. I really do, because I wish that I had this. We live in amazing times. These are modern solutions to modern problems. We have the technology to extract the most amazing ingredients from nature. And so, make a commitment to figure this out. Or if it's not for you, fine. But, at least learn about it. And I hope this helps you. Again, it's my mission to help you out here at Rapid Regeneration. So keep learning. You're doing amazing if you're arming yourself with this knowledge. If there's anything that I can do to help, please reach out, contact me, because it is my mission. After I got healthy and well, I made a deal. I said, God, well, it was before I got healthy and well. God, if you help me get healthy and well, after I'm healthy, I'll do whatever you want. I'll be, I'll put good into the world, and so that's what I'm working on doing. And so good luck. That's all for now. And I'll see you on the next segment.
For more information, please follow at Rapid Regeneration or visit rapidregeneration.com.